we're fighting the Secretary of State's agency in court for information about who they were spying on and compiling an info on and a dossier on. And where did we get the information? From Marco Rubio. When it comes to the abuses targeting Trump and people around him, it's not limited to the Justice Department. It's not limited to the FBI. The question is which agencies weren't involved. The State Department was also part of the abusing of President Trump. Judicial Watch exposed that. You wouldn't believe what they were doing to target Trump and people around him, even while he was in office, meaning his own State Department. The Obama State Department did it. The State Department under Trump, the deep staters targeted Trump. And then Marco Rubio disclosed a few weeks ago during an April 30th, 2025 cabinet meeting. Rubio said, "We had an office in the Department of State whose job it was to censor Americans." He also said that the State Department labeled a member of President Trump's cabinet as a purveyor of disinformation, compiling a dossier of social media posts from the unnamed cabinet member. Rubio says State had dossier accusing Trump member, that's the reference. And so we asked for records not only about that, but about whoever else they were targeting. And of course, we've been getting the runaround. So I like Marco Rubio. I think he's generally doing a good job for President Trump, but on this transparency stuff, he's got to get his act together. There's the headline: Judicial Watch sues State Department for records labeling President Trump and cabinet officials as disinformation purveyors. And of course, in the State Department, there was this agency, as Bill Huizenga, a member of Congress, Republican from Michigan. He referenced the Global Engagement Center as an entity that was initially authorized for the statutory purpose of countering foreign propaganda and disinformation efforts. Despite that mandate, for years, the agency instead deployed its shadowy network of grantees and sub-grantees to facilitate the censorship of American voices. So we know what was going on generally there. And of course, Judicial Watch has done so much in way of exposing not only what the State Department was up to, but other agencies. But specifically targeting senior people in Trump's orbit, and I guarantee you Trump was on that targeting list, raises significant legal, as far as I'm concerned, civil liability issues for those who did it. And there should be criminal liability for those who did it if the law applies as I think it does. The Biden administration's operation, the censorship operation, was compiling files on his political enemies from Trump world. I think that's what Rubio is implying here. The State Department should immediately disclose the records about this abuse as FOIA requires. So FOIA requires the disclosure of the records we're asking for, and we want them disclosed under law. And we're asking this of Marco Rubio's State Department. This is not the first time obviously I have to tell you, we're in battles with dozens of government agencies through dozens of lawsuits. But, we've had this particular battle with the State Department over USAID secrets, where the Biden people were giving money to aid relief in Gaza, and we can't get information about the key grantees that were benefiting from millions of dollars of taxpayer money that was probably going to help fronts associated with Hamas terrorists. I don't know why else they would withhold the information from us. And now on top of that, we're fighting the Secretary of State's agency in court for information about who they were spying on and compiling an info on and a dossier on. And where did we get the information? From Marco Rubio. It's the only reason we asked for the documents. He makes an announcement on national television at a cabinet meeting covered worldwide, probably, right? That his agency was creating files on one of his colleagues in the cabinet. And so we said, well, give us the details. And they don't want to give us the details. Come on. So our work on censorship, now the censorship of Americans by the deep state, and it began, I think it began in earnest in 2020. COVID was used by the deep state, and then the elections were used by the deep state as excuses to censor American citizens. And it metastasized in ways that no, I think, American could have imagined during the Biden administration. So tens of millions of Americans had their First Amendment rights suppressed, censored, abused, harmed under the color of law, under the abuse of authority by government officials at the state and federal levels. And Judicial Watch has been, again, second to none in exposing the details of that. In fact, we have a petition before the Supreme Court that's still being litigated. We're asking the Supreme Court to look at state of California causing YouTube to take down a video featuring me talking about, on behalf of Judicial Watch, this very weekly update, election issues in California. And we've exposed how the Department of Homeland Security was heavily involved in this corruption and censorship, document after document. And yours truly has been targeted by every leftist involved in this issue for censorship. I've been blocked from Twitter. TikTok took me down. The Chinese communists acted like the American communists, right? Censoring me. And of course, Judicial Watch is targeted as well. I'm not so naive as to think that they're targeting me because they don't like me personally. It's because they don't like what I'm saying as it relates to Judicial Watch's activities, blowing the whistle on government corruption and abuse. So Judicial Watch is high up on the list, but obviously no higher than President Trump. There's no one who's been more censored than he has. And the State Department that his appointees are running are giving us the runaround about the targeting of Trump and people in Trump world. So I hope that changes. I mean, we just had to sue the FBI last week because, no, we weren't suing. We have a lawsuit, but we were in court against the FBI and Justice Department last week because they're hiding information about the Biden FBI censoring Americans through working with Twitter. Not good, I tell you, not good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.